Hi guys, today we are going to use radial symmetry and a rubbing technique to make a mandala snowflake. So what we're going to need for this project today is going to be a pair of scissors, a piece of paper, not a piece of paper in your artist portfolio because we're going to be folding it and cutting it, a pencil, and something to color with, so crayons, markers, or colored pencils. I like colored pencils for this project. So the first thing we need to do is we need to make our rectangular piece of paper into a square. So the way that you make a rectangular piece of paper into a square is by folding it. So look for the short side of your piece of paper, put your finger on one of the short corners, take the other short corner in your hand and bring it down like this. So you should have like a triangle shape. This whole line, this whole short side of your paper should line up with the long side of your paper. So it shouldn't look like that, shouldn't look like that. Just make sure they line up together. And when you do this, make sure that your corner looks nice and sharp. When you think you've got it, put your finger down on this corner, slide your hand up to this fold to press it down, slide it down to the corner, and then back up to the other corner. So this is called creasing. It's very important in origami or paper folding, okay? Now you see we have this extra rectangle hanging out here where this side of our paper is. So we want to cut this rectangle off. You can do this one of two ways. You can either take your pencil and very carefully, not like I just did, very carefully make a line so you know where to cut, or you could just take your scissors and cut along that folded line, okay? You can get rid of that extra piece of rectangular paper. We don't need it. And now, if you unfold it, you should have a square piece of paper. Okay, we're gonna take our square piece of paper and we're gonna fold it in half so that we have a rectangle. Again, make sure your edges line up as neatly as you can. The more neatly you can do this, the better your mandala is going to look. And again, take your finger and make sure this crease is nice and flat, okay? And then you're going to take your piece of paper and fold it in half again. So now you have a square, okay? Now you're gonna unfold your paper all the way, and you're going to choose one square of your paper to start drawing in. Sometimes I'll do a very light line. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I'll do a very light line on the fold line so I can see I'm starting with one square, okay? And in this one square, you're gonna do a design, any design that you want. So maybe I'll do a line up the middle because I can still see that fold line, so that's kind of inspiring me. Maybe I'll do some swirly lines. Maybe I'll do some lines like this. Maybe a few more, kind of like snowflakey lines. Maybe I'll make some more swirls. I really like swirls. You want to fill the space, but you don't want to make it too small and complicated, and you'll see why in a minute. Some more lines coming out to the edges. Maybe I'll make another diamond inside here and then connect all the edges to make a cool looking diamond. Maybe I'll do some dots. I like dots. Some more dots. Nah, I think that's good. So now I have a square that has a design in it, again, not too tiny. And I want to go over my pencil lines again and make them really nice and thick because that's going to make it easier to do the transfer technique that we're going to learn in a minute. So go over your pencil lines, make sure they're really nice, press hard, and go thick with your lines. Okay? Because that's going to make this next step a lot easier for us. Try not to go too fast or be too sloppy with your lines though. That's gonna make it harder. Pushing really nice and hard. I might have made mine a bit too complicated, but that's okay. I'm just gonna do my best. All right, once you're all done with your design, and you can do any kind of designs you want, it can be swirlies, it can be shapes, it can be lines, you could even write your name, you can use letters, pictures, characters, whatever you like, any kind of design in this square. We're gonna fold it over, and you should be able to see through your paper. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I can see through my paper. I can see the design I just made here. And I'm gonna use the back of something like a marker or even like the handle of my scissors, and I'm going to rub. Press down very firmly, keep my hand firm on this piece of paper so it doesn't swiggle around on me, so it doesn't move. And I'm going to rub really hard on this piece of paper. Your hand here is really, really important to make sure that you don't rip your paper, because if you rub too hard without having your other hand firm down, like you can see I just did that, that's a really easy way to rip your paper, and then you're gonna go need to find some tape and fix that hole. Okay, rub all over, and then when you open it up, you should see your design transferred to the other side of your paper. Again, it might be kind of hard to see it on camera. It'll be a lot easier to see on person. So I'm gonna go over all the lines that I can see. Again, pushing nice and hard with my pencil. Get nice thick lines. If there's a spot like this that's a little bit harder for you to see, you can fold it back and rub it some more, just in the spot. Ah, that's so much easier for me to see it. Awesome, that came out better. And then continue going. You can use the other side as a guide. Be like, oh, I had a swirly here. On this side, I should have a swirly on the other side. Again, go slow and careful. The more slowly and carefully you can do your designs, the better they're going to come out. And again, make sure all your pencil lines are really thick, because that'll make the next transfer easier. So what we're doing is we're rubbing the graphite pencil from one side of our paper to the other side of our paper. And this makes it a lot easier to make a radially symmetrical design, because it gives us an outline to follow. All right, oh, I'm not really seeing these dots here. I'm gonna rub it again. Freehanding this would be a lot harder to make it look exactly the same. See that? Ah, so much easier, okay? So now I have one side, the second side, now I gotta do the other half of my paper. So I'm gonna fold my paper in half so that the side that I drew is facing the side that is blank, fold it back in half, and I'm gonna rub again. Again, pressing really, really hard, rubbing back and forth with my marker or the handle of my scissors or whatever you have, like this edge here. Rub, 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 rub. Both sides. And then open it back up. And you can kind of see it, but you know what? It didn't come out great, so that means I didn't rub long enough. So I'm gonna fold it back over, and I'm gonna keep rubbing. All right, how's it look now? Oh, it's getting there. I can still see some blank spots. So how you do this is up to you. You can either try to rub the whole thing really, really hard the first time until you're sure you got all the edges, but I can sometimes get bored with that one. Right? So sometimes I'll just, you know what, I'm gonna get started. And if I need to fold it and rub again, I can. So I know I have this line. I know I have this line. I know I've got this one, and 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 this one. I know I can see this swirly here, this swirly here, this one here. That swirly is kind of hard for me to see, so I'm gonna fold and rub again. Ah, it's much better. I know I have these lines here. You can see why if I'd done really teeny tiny designs, this would take me forever, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, if you really wanted to make teeny tiny designs, you could. It's just gonna take you longer. But if you wanna do this on your own, make another mandala, you absolutely could do that. Now this is, I call it a mandala snowflake design because it's wintertime, and in wintertime I like to make snowflake designs, but it doesn't have to be. It could be any design or shape that you like. Oh, I'm missing this a bit here, so again I'm going to fold it in half and rub. And I go back and forth between these two techniques a lot, you can see. Fold, rub, then open it up. Ah, now I see it. Okay, I didn't miss anything. Oh, these dots on this side. So I'm gonna fold it back. Aha. There we go. Oh, I don't think I have any of the dots here. So I'm gonna fold it back here. So I'm constantly checking, making sure that each side looks like all the other sides, because that's what radial symmetry means. When one side looks like all the other sides. Okay? Oh, yeah, that looks good to me. Okay, so once you've done all this, it's time for the fun part, for coloring. And you can outline this if you want to, with like a Sharpie or black marker or a blue marker, and then color it in. So let's see, I'm probably gonna go, I think I'm gonna go Sharpie. I'm gonna go over all my lines again, and you don't have to go over all your lines if you like the way they look. You can just start coloring. I'm gonna go from corner to corner. Again, if you don't hit your pencil lines exactly, it's not a big deal. Just try to get them as close as you can. And again, I want mine to be like a snowflake, because snowflakes have radial symmetry. So I'm probably going to be coloring mine in shades of blue to follow the snowflake theme. Okay, and again, you don't have to, but if you want to, you can take an eraser and you can erase any extra pencil lines that you can see. Okay. And then you can color it. And you can have fun with it, whatever colors you want to use for the different sections. Again, I like outlining with Sharpie and then coloring in with colored pencil, just because I think it looks a bit neater to me, but whatever you have at home for coloring is fine. And I like to layer colors too. Take another color and layer it over the first color. Kind of blends them together, making this kind of like jewel shape in the middle. I'm liking that. But however you want to color it is totally up to you. Okay, and then just keep going with it.